It's 7:32. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Roll call, William Johnston,
Here.
Tom Graffinino,
Here.
Lisa Kreckler,
Here.
Phil Diorio is here. Lynn Colligan is excused. We also have with us Town Attorney Stephen Kiley. First order of business is to review and approve the March 16th, 2021 minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second? 2022.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Not
second.
21.
I wrote a check today with 2021. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, first thing I want to bring up is that we had some correspondence from Mr. Alex Doman concerning the Borthwick appeal. This was a few years ago, and he has asked us to voluntarily correct a clerical error. I'm uncertain. I mean, I guess all of you have seen that, right? So I'm uncertain exactly what action is required of us or not on this. And so right now, I'm just going to ask the town attorney if he would take the time at some point before our next hearing to take a look at this and look into it for us.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you very much. All right, next. Oh, sure. Is that better? Okay. All right. So next up, we have some resolutions. The first up is Carlino. If you'd read that for us, Lisa, please.
Application by Peter and Marcia Carlino for variance special permit 15 Serpentine Drive. Whereas Peter and Marcia Carlino have applied for variances and special permit at 15 Serpentine Drive, Zone AA Residential, Nearshore Overlay District, Shelter Island zoning map, Suffolk County Tax Map 0700-14-01-11.3. The building official has reviewed the application and issued a letter of disapproval dated February 4th, 2022. The applicant wishes to construct 2 bathroom additions, whereas the proposed 20 feet by 6 feet 8-inch powder room addition on the ground floor of the northeast side of the existing building creates a new 135 square feet setback intrusion that will require variance ranging from 17 feet 8 inches to 11 feet end, whereas the second floor master bathroom addition will consist of an 11-foot by 4-foot addition on the existing bathroom cantilever out on the northeast side of the building requires a 24-foot front yard variance. And whereas a special permit is required due to the increase of the bulk of the existing nonconformity, this board considers the application and accompanying documents at the public hearing held pursuant to notice on February 23rd, 2022. The board wishes to make the following findings. The property lot is significantly sloped. The Serpentine Drive is unpaved and a very narrow road, and the applicant owns a neighboring lot at 11 Serpentine Drive. The applicant offered to use this lot for the construction vehicle parking, whereas this board now wishes to render a decision on this application. Now therefore be it resolved that this board hereby establishes itself as lead agency pursuant to SECRA and finds that this is a type 2 action which will not result in a significant adverse impact on the environment. And be it further resolved that with regard to the requested variance, the board has considered the following: whether an undesirable change would be produced in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to nearby properties, whether the benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance, whether the requested variance is substantial, if the variance will have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created. The zoning board has determined that the requested variances are the minimum that should be granted in order to preserve and protect the character of the neighborhood and the health, safety, and welfare of the community, and finds that the benefit of the applicant outweighs the detriment to the community. And be it further resolved that the requested variance and special permit for 2 bathroom additions as shown on the plans by Mazzano Architect Groups dated 12/8/2021 and survey F. Michael Hemmer dated 8/24/2010, last revised 3/9/2021 are hereby granted subject to the following. Parking of all construction and delivery vehicles shall be on premises property during all phases of the construction. and should adhere to the parking plan by Mazzano Architect Group revised date 3/21/2022. And no public street or private right-of-way may be obstructed or impaired during construction. Applicant must repair any damage to any adjacent road or street caused by construction vehicles to the satisfaction of the town highway superintendent. And the project manager shall post a sign on site with his cell phone number and shall address in a timely fashion neighbors' concerns regarding litter control, parking, noise, road conditions, and other impacts caused by the project. And the retaining wall adjacent to the powder room should be stabilized with diagonal braces. And be it further resolved that pursuant to section 133-32H, this approval shall expire 1 year after approval unless a building permit is obtained, and a copy of this approval shall be filed with the building department.
Okay, so just for public notice on this, I have recused myself from this hearing and did not participate in it, but I will conduct the roll call for the vote. We only have 3 members here to vote on that tonight. Lynn is not here, but 3 still represents a quorum. So William Johnston,
William Johnson, vote yes.
Tom Graffinino,
Thomas Graffinino votes yes.
Lisa Kreckler.
Lisa Kreckler votes yes.
Okay, very good. Motion passes. Next up, we have 9 Locust Avenue. This is an extension request for the McCarthys. It's actually 2 separate lots. I'll read the first one. They have applied, they're basically just applying for an extension of their approval because they have not yet been able to begin construction. So whereas Whitney McCarthy has applied for a special permit and variances at 9 Locust Avenue, Shelter Island Heights, New York, which is zone AA reverting to A near Shore Overlay District on the Shelter Island zoning map, and specifically on the Suffolk County tax map as 700-06-03-11.1. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals granted the request for a special permit and variances on August 25th, 2021 by a resolution number 06-2021. And whereas the applicant has requested a 1-year extension from the Zoning Board of Appeals. And whereas this board considered the request and determined that there have been no significant changes in the circumstances or law which would require further review of the approval, so that a 1-year extension is appropriate. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the board hereby grants a 1-year extension to the original variance, which will now terminate on August 25th, 2023, unless prior to the termination, the owner has obtained a building permit. Roll call, William Johnston,
William Johnson, yes.
Tom Graffinino,
Thomas Graffinino, yes.
Lisa Kreckler,
Lisa Kreckler, yes.
Philip DiOrio votes yes. The extension is granted. This is another one that's for the other lot that the McCarthy's own. Whereas Whitney McCarthy has applied for a special permit and variance at 6 Meadow Place, Shelter Island Heights, New York, which is zone AA reverting to A, Nearshore Overlay District on the Shelter Island zoning map, and specifically described on the Suffolk County tax map as 700-06-03-11.2. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals granted the request for a special permit and variances on August 25th, 2021 by resolution number 07-2021. And whereas the applicant has requested a 1-year of extension from the Zoning Board of Appeals, and whereas this document considered the request, this board considered the request and determined that there have been no significant changes in the circumstances or law in which would require further review of the approval, so that a 1-year extension is appropriate. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the board hereby grants a 1-year extension to the original variance, which will now terminate on August 25th, 2023, unless prior to termination, the owner has obtained a building permit. All right, roll call, William Johnston,
William Johnson, yes.
Thomas Graffinino,
Thomas Graffinino, yes.
Lisa Kreckler,
Lisa Kreckler, yes.
Philip DiOrio votes yes. So next up is we're going to call a rehearing on the Weisenfeld application. They had an application approved by us, and the Board of Health process, the wetlands process has taken so long that their permit has expired, and so technically this is a rehearing and they're asking for an extension. So I'm just going to read the legal notice here. A rehearing on the appeal number 05-2019, the application of Jason Weisenfeld and Eric Zelenko for a variance at 14 Peconic Avenue, Shelter Island Heights, New York, which is Zone A, near shore overlay on the Shelter Island zoning map, and specifically described on the Suffolk County tax map as 700-21-1-17. Applicant seeks a variance to demolish the existing structure and construct in its place a two-story, single-family residence, which would require a side yard setback variances of 12 feet 6 inches and a front yard setback variance of 1 foot 7 inches. The exclusive purpose of this rehearing is to determine whether to grant an extension of the subject approval, which expired on February 26, 2021. All right, so I'm just going to open it up to the floor and see if anybody has anything to offer. Do we want to ask Mr. Weisenfeld anything, or is this something that we can just discuss ourselves? I don't think we need a presentation. This is something that we did before, but
Right.
If they're not making any changes and nothing else has
no,
changed
it's
on
all,
our end.
it's all going to stay the same. Stephen, is there some procedure that we have to follow here? Do
Well,
we go?
you should go through the motions. It's a duly noticed public hearing. So you open it up to the public. They want to comment. In the notice, it said it was exclusively for this application for basically a retroactive extension and then other extension. So again, just go through the motions.
Okay, so maybe then I thought I saw somebody up there, but it appears that he's gone. So shall we discuss this? I mean, this was out in Silver Beach. They were going to knock the house down. They were going to build another house. Initially, they wanted to put what I called a large wall very close to the property line. They shifted that over to the center of the building. So is this something, Stephen, that we have to close the hearing, talk about at the work session? Create a new
We have a
resolution?
You can close and pass a
Okay.
resolution tonight.
Okay,
We don't need to go through the checklist again.
No.
okay. I just want to make sure we're doing it all the right.
Yeah, I would
way.
just, again, if anybody from the public would like to be heard
Okay.
on it.
So Christina, I'm going to ask if anybody from the public would like to comment. And maybe you can just make sure that you're looking to see if anybody's got a hand up or something there. Folks, if anybody out there in Zoom land wants to comment on this, please use the hand raising function on your Zoom to let Christina know that you'd like to weigh in here. I don't see any hands up. Right? Is there anybody here in this room that would like to comment on this? I'm going to guess no. Anybody at this table that would like to comment on this?
No.
No. Okay. So what's the next step, Stephen?
Make a motion to close.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
No.
We don't do these
All right,
rehearings.
I'll make a motion, we close it.
Okay, can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
Now you have a resolution.
Okay, we find it. Huh. Thank you. Whereas Jason Weisenfeld applied for multiple area variances at 14 Peconic Avenue, Shelter Island, New York, which is located in the Zone A and Nearshore Overlay District as delineated on the Shelter Island zoning map and specifically described on the Suffolk County tax map as 700-21-1-17 And whereas on February 26, 2020, the zoning board of appeals granted the requested area variances, appeal number 05-2019. Whereas pursuant to the language of the subject grant and section 133-32H, said grant expired on February 26, 2021. Whereas in the interim, the applicant applied to the Suffolk County Department of Health Services Office of Wastewater Management for certain approvals in connection with the subject project on April 3rd, 2020. Whereas the applicant diligently pursued said approvals, but bureaucracy and COVID-19 pandemic caused delays ensued. Whereas the applicant on February 4th, 2022 asked this board for a rehearing to retroactively extend the subject grant to a current status and further extend the grant to December 31st, 2022. Whereas the board voted unanimously on February 9th, 2022 to reopen the subject hearing, whereas the notice was provided that the subject hearing would be reopened for the exclusive purpose of determining whether to grant the requested extensions. Whereas on March 23rd, 2022, the board considered this request and determined that there have been no significant changes in the circumstances or law which would require further review of the approval. So the requested extension is appropriate. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the board hereby grants an extension to the original grant to expire on March 23rd, 2023, unless a building permit for subject structure is procured prior thereto, and a copy of this approval shall be filed with the building department. Now, before we vote on it, I just want to say, so when they wrote to us, they asked to just extend it to the end of 2022. But we thought that typically we give extensions that last a year. And so we're going with a year from today. All right, roll call. William Johnston,
William Johnson, yes.
Tom Graffinino,
Thomas Graffinino, yes.
Lisa Kreckler,
Lisa Kreckler, yes.
and Phil DiOrio votes yes. The extension for 1 year is approved. All right, and last up, we have 6 Serpentine Drive. I'm just pushing my papers around in all different directions here. Do we have somebody here to present for them?
Can you read the public notice?
No, I'm just curious. I'm looking for the public notice, and I thought I'd fill some time by asking a question.
The applicant is there.
Okay, all right, so here we go. The hearing on the application of Joel Asseline Living Trust and Vibeke Licton Living Trust seeking fence height variances at 6 Serpentine Drive, Shelter Island Heights, New York, which is in Zone AA residential and is more specifically described on the Suffolk County tax map as 700-14-01-03. The applicants seek to retain an 8-foot tall fence on all sides of the property.
There was a correspondence from Heights and a bunch of neighbors.
Okay, so we did get correspondence from the Heights. Should I read these or give a little synopsis?
Upon request available.
Okay.
That's what we do with the planning.
Okay, so we received a letter from the Shelter Island Heights Property Owners Corporation, and their Property and Roads Committee does not support the 8-foot fence height. They think that granting the variance would establish a bad precedent in the area. We did receive what I would call a mixed bag of responses from individual neighbors. No issue from Jerome Brigette. No issue from Frank Gerdak. No objection from Barry Allen.
Chairman,
So what's that, ma'am? Sure, you'll have an opportunity.
We'll give you a moment.
Chairman, for the record, can you just list their address?
Sure. Okay, so Jerome Brigette from 6 Sunnyside, no objection. No issue from Frank Burdak, 2 Serpentine. No issue from Barry Allen, 8 Serpentine. No objection from Peter Carlino, 15 Serpentine. objection from 19 Serpentine, Virginia and Tony Curry. The an objection from 4 Serpentine, Sarah Hughes and Julianne Wallace. An objection from James Jordan, 10 Serpentine. No objection from Brigitte, another from 6 Sunnyside. And no objection from 12 Serpentine, Lori. Okay, thank you. So is there someone to present? You're not here to present, right? Okay, good. I just want to make sure that I'm not. Christina, can you send out a message to Mr. Asseline to ask him if he's ready to present? No presentation?
I don't know.
Good evening, this is Joel Asseline.
Maybe if you could turn on his video, Christina.
Yeah.
My attorney had actually, John Bennett has sent a letter yesterday asking for a continuance. But I have not heard, so that's why he's not present. I'm actually in Europe right now. It's about 2 a.m. for me, but I'm happy to make a presentation or answer any questions.
Mr. Asseline, let me ask you, would you prefer that that we put this off until next month and your attorney can present for you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that that's probably the best thing to do at this point. So that, ma'am, I apologize that you did come up here tonight. You know, the hearing is open. You could say something, ma'am, but they haven't even presented their case yet. But if you, okay, that's fine. You know what, Stephen, what do you think?
I would, unfortunately, no. We know the applicant's represented by an attorney. Attorney should have the opportunity to address any comments that she would make in real time.
Okay, I understand that, ma'am. I totally get it. But I, in the interest of fairness, I don't think it's, yeah. You know, if you want to submit something written so that you don't have to come back, or you could zoom in the next time and share your thoughts with us as well. All right. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, okay. What is your name, ma'am?
My name is Ann Searchin.
Okay.
And I own the property at 4 Sunnyside.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stella, as long as it's not something to do with the actual case here.
No, just a question. Did you receive the letter asking for?
I have not seen any letter. We have not seen a letter. I mean, it could be whatever, lost in translation, Russian cyber attack.
Mail is terrible, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I couldn't sign into my Shelter Around Town account last night. So Mr. Asseline, we're going to table this until next month. What's the date of our hearing in April?
27.
April 27th. All right, Mr. Asseline, so perhaps you can make sure that your attorney is able to attend.
Absolutely, I will make sure, but I know an email was sent and a FedEx was sent overnight yesterday.
I had a sick day yesterday.
What's that?
I had a sick day yesterday.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, very good, Mr. Asseline. We'll put it off till next
Thank you.
next month, April 27th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Is there anything else that we have on our agenda here today?
No, we can close the Zoom, we can close the hearing. I just want you for a second. for-
Okay, so we're gonna close this meeting. Can I have a motion to close the meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Meeting's closed.